speed is the key. Speed is the key. You cannot compete with power because he's bigger than you. See? Because he's bigger than you. You can level up his power because he's bigger than you. You're moving up to another bigger opponent. But the most important thing when you fight, that's my strategy, that's my experience. Make sure that you are faster than him. The speed is the key.
Pacquiao came out. He congratulated Errol Spence. Manny Pacquiao said, "Welcome back, Errol Spence. Congratulations on your victory." Now, the Errol Spence that you saw tonight, what's your take on maybe a Manny Pacquiao fight next for Errol Spence? Did Manny Pacquiao see something in Errol in which might encourage him to take the fight with Errol Spence next? Because remember, when Keith had a lackluster performance against Lopez, he fought Keith Thurman right away. He thought he saw something in Keith, and he was absolutely right. So did you see something in Errol Spence tonight?
I saw no flaws in Errol Spence tonight. I saw the old EJ that we know. Beautiful performance by our Dallas native in Errol the True Spence. Welcome back, brother. You came back with a vengeance. Beautiful, beautiful, dominant performance by Errol Spence. It was an amazing classic. I gave Errol Spence 9 of those rounds, and I gave Danny Garcia 3 of those rounds for one specific reason. Beautiful, beautiful combination sequences going on by Errol Spence, upstairs and downstairs, not only against the ropes, but even in the center of the ring and on the outside and on the inside, also in mid-range. Danny Garcia was flat-footed, and I mean, he just could not handle the jab that Errol Spence was throwing at him. The jab kept Danny Garcia at bay. Danny Garcia could not land his signature left hook. He could not get on the inside. He barely can even land his lead right hand, and that's his calling card. And he threw that. He threw it at Errol Spence all night long, could not land it. Errol Spence's footwork and his angle movements was giving Danny Garcia problems, and Errol Spence was just, I mean, it was just beautiful, beautiful return by Errol. And the crazy part about this is Errol Spence in his prime, and we still haven't seen the best Errol Spence yet. And the best is yet to come from Errol Spence. But kudos to Errol and kudos to Danny for going 12 rounds with the champ. But at the end of the day, this was a dominant, dominant return by Errol Spence. And one thing I will say, 2020 belongs to Derek James. I don't want nobody talking about any other trainers. This year belongs to Derek freaking James. Point blank, period.
He definitely the trainer of the year, and this was definitely the comeback of the year. But Danny Garcia, he did land few right hands in the 4th round. The $1 million question was how Errol Spence is going to react. But like Errol Spence said, he wasn't worried about that because he was taking good punches in sparring, so he knew he was A-okay as far as taking a punch because he always showed that he had a great chin. Nevertheless, if you recall the fight, obviously Errol Spence dominated Danny Garcia, but I think the 7th or the 8th round, it seemed like we were heading the route of Mikey Garcia 2.0. I don't know what's going on with the Garcias. Because the Garcias always see something in Errol, and Errol showed him why he's special. Angel Garcia was very frustrated with Danny. He kept telling Danny Garcia, quit backing up. Errol Spence is on his P's and Q's on the front foot, so you got to back him up. You don't back up against a southpaw, especially not against a guy like Errol Spence. Obviously, Danny Garcia, one thing about Danny, he always execute the game plan, right? So in the 4th round, when his father was yelling at him, telling him what to do, he obviously executed. That's possibly one of the rounds that you could give to Danny. But also in that 8th or the 9th round, he told Danny Garcia the same thing. He was very frustrated because he started telling Danny Garcia, he only throwing pity-pat punches at you, which that's a sign of frustration because obviously Errol Spence wasn't throwing no pity-pat punches. Them punches had bad intentions on him. Obviously, he wanted his son to pressure Errol Spence, but that's easier said than done because Danny's the one fighting. Danny Garcia wasn't able to back up Errol Spence because he was fighting Errol Spence. It was Errol Spence that was dictating the fight with his jab and his body work. He was going to the body like it was filled with candy, and that jab pretty much controlled Danny Garcia. But like I said, in the 8th or the 9th round, that's when Danny Garcia kind of had like his second win. He came on strong because Errol Spence was on the verge of stopping Danny Garcia. And out of nowhere, Danny Garcia, he had his second win, and Errol Spence went from going 100 miles per hour to 70 miles per hour. To me, he ain't 100% yet. He 100% dedicated, Well, he ain't 100% yet, but like he said before the fight, a 70% Errol Spence still beats 100% Danny Garcia, which he displayed tonight. But a guy like Manny Pacquiao, for example, you don't think he could capitalize on the things that Danny Garcia capitalized on tonight with his combination and speed, or does style make fights? Do you think Pacquiao saw something?
Manny Pacquiao is a veteran of the game. He's been there, he's done that, he's been in the ring with some of the greatest, including the youngsters. And he's proven that he can also hang in there with some of the young champions and defeating Keith Thurman, a prime Keith Thurman on top of that. Now, Errol Spence is a different beast. I'm not downing Manny Pacquiao and all he's done for the sport of boxing. He is a legend, a future Hall of Famer, and one of the greatest boxers to ever live and set foot in the ring, point blank, period. But one thing is for sure. If those two were to meet in the ring for a unification fight for the WBA, IBF, and WBC welterweight championships of the world at 147, there is no doubt in my mind at 100%, Errol Spence will absolutely stop Manny Pacquiao.
Somebody in the chat, Greg, said, nah, Errol Spence started playing. Well, according to Errol Spence himself, he said that he gassed out. He felt tired during the later stages of the fight. That's why
later stages.
Yeah, so that's why I said Errol Spence is not 100% yet. He's 100% focused, but he's not 100% yet. And when it comes to Pacquiao, if Pacquiao chooses to fight Errol Spence, now Errol Spence is 100% back. Maybe his next fight, he's going to be 100% or near that percentage, or maybe 90, 95%. So if Manny Pacquiao was going to capitalize on the moment, he would have fought Errol Spence tonight. But because obviously, I don't know why Manny Pacquiao didn't fight Errol Spence, because he never was interested in fighting Errol Spence. Errol Spence called him out when he beat Mikey Garcia in front of 47,000 fans, and Pacquiao chose to fight Keith Thurman instead. So obviously, skill recognized skills, and I'm pretty sure Manny Pacquiao knows how special Errol Spence is, but I don't know how likely that fight is, because Manny, I'm hearing Conor McGregor, dream fight, so on and so forth. So I don't know how interested he will be in a Errol Spence, but if he does fight an Errol Spence, that will be a mega fight. I mean, there is no other sport besides boxing that have fans attending the fights. We saw it against Gervonta, and now we're seeing it against Errol Spence. It was so many fans that attended a fight. Obviously, due to quarantine, they have to stay 6 feet apart with seats and stuff like that, but they still sold out. There's tremendous numbers. Therefore, if Manny Pacquiao want the biggest fight in the ring, not outside of the ring or like in a joint sport promotion with the UFC, if Pacquiao want to fight the biggest fight before retiring, I always say you're better off going out with a bang. So the best way to go out is to go out against Errol Spence. Wouldn't you say so?
Definitely agree with that 100%.
I would like to see Manny Pacquiao. As much as I love Manny Pacquiao, he's the guy that brought me and got me back interested in boxing. I wasn't interested in boxing since I was a kid watching Mike Tyson. Right. So, yeah, I got a great love and respect and admiration. He's a humanitarian, all that good stuff. There's nothing bad to say about Manny Pacquiao, except one thing. He's a Spence ducker. That's it. And besides him ducking Spence, I have no problem with Manny Pacquiao at all.
Don't you feel he did the same thing to Crawford, though, when he was with Top Rank? I mean, Crawford
he did. I was actually going to say that next. That was my next topic. That was my next thing I was going to say. But, yeah, anyways, he ducked both, not Crawford, but Spence, but he mainly ducked Spence because Spence called him in the ring when he fought Mikey Garcia, as we all know. And for 2 days, he acted like he was going to fight, and then he said, well, he couldn't even beat a lightweight or whatever weight Mikey Garcia is at 140.
2 minutes, not 2 days. He thought about it in 2 minutes.
Yeah, he was nervous, and he was so nervous when he got called in that ring. He was just, everyone knows how he talked. But anyways, yeah, man, it's the thing that I would like to see. I would like to see him fight Manny Pacquiao because he fights Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao is, we all know Manny Pacquiao. He's a grandpa in the sport. He's done. He did everything he can do. He gave his heart and soul to boxing, and we all love him for it. But at the same time, Errol Spence is barely coming off this car accident. And as great as Errol Spence looked, Errol Spence versus Sean Porter, if that Errol Spence had to fight this Danny Garcia, he would have got washed. He would have got spanked because the type of fighter that Sean Porter is nonstop pressure. The type of fighter that Errol Spence is nonstop pressure. But the problem with Errol Spence tonight is he didn't have his normal amount of stamina. To see his stamina gauge, I can see him fatiguing.
Yeah, Pacquiao need to either give up the belt or fight one of them guys. If he's not interested, that's cool. Like a lot of people say, oh, Pacquiao old, Pacquiao this, Pacquiao that. Okay, fine. But he holding the strap hostage. You can't hold the strap hostage and get mad at the fans for wanting to see the fight because he got one of the main straps at 147, and we want to see undisputed. We want to see one face, one name. And like you said, I agree with you 1,000%. Errol says he don't need Crawford, but he gonna fight Crawford. Crawford said the same thing. So it's like, nah, the fans want this fight. What you mean? We want to see this fight. I mean, this is the most anticipated fight in the sport of boxing. Skill-wise, power-wise, pound-for-pound-wise. This is our Hearn versus Leonard. This is our Frazier versus Ali. We got to see this fight.
Exactly. And then not only that, but the thing is, the problem with Pacquiao dropping the belt is that now two other guys got to go and fight for that WBA strap. And then who knows how long we prolong the process of undisputed. So I don't think Pacquiao dropped that belt. Pacquiao is going to use that as leverage because he knows that these two guys have to go to him to conquer the division. He knows that. So he's going to be smart and he's going to try to fend off, have them two fight each other, and then he's going to try to go last. He's going to try to do it, but I don't think he's going to get away with it.
Yeah, but timing is not on his side either, though. That's the problem. Pacquiao is 41. You know, I think he's 41. So you don't want to keep waiting, man. He had a Keith Thurman win 2019, right? I mean, it's about to be 221 in a month. You know what I mean? So the time is not on his side. So if he going to fight a Conor McGregor, the WBA already notified him that you got to defend your title. You're going to have to fight a Mikey Garcia even. You have to stay active. So if he doesn't stay active, if he doesn't fight a Crawford or Errol Spence, then he obviously going to have to vacate the belt if he chooses to go the Conor McGregor route. I mean, I don't think they're going to allow that fight to be for a title because Conor, he's 0-1 as a pro in the sport of boxing. So that being said, unless there's too much money on the line and politics kick in and they allow Pacquiao to keep the belt and defend it against Conor McGregor, that'd be crazy. But like you said, if he does vacate the belt, what's going to happen with it? I think Ugas will fight for that title because he's the regular champion. When the super champion is vacated, the regular champion either get elevated to it or fight someone for it. So Ugas could actually fight Keith Thurman for the belt because Keith Thurman, he's been wanting an opportunity. So that will be a great opportunity to come back to the game. If Keith gets the WBA super strap and is able to defeat a Ugas or the other way around, then Errol Spence will definitely be interested in the winner. And so will Crawford. That way, that's why I said if Crawford comes to PBC, they could play this out like a tournament. Depending on what Pacquiao do, if Pacquiao chooses to go to the Conor McGregor route, the money route, it's okay. It is what it is. But that belt is going to be free. Ugas and Keith Thurman could fight for the strap. And, you know, Sean could fight Crawford. Errol Spence could fight the winner of that. Then it could be set up like a tournament where they all face each other at the end. The winners versus the winners, the losers versus the losers. And that will bring life to the sport of boxing. I'm talking about that's going to be a come up for PBC if they could do that. Because they could even come out with a belt and say the PBC belt is for undisputed and give it to the winner. They could start a tradition with a PBC belt, kind of like the UFC belt, establishing a dominant franchise in the sport of boxing. The way the UFC did with the MMA. Boxing, they could do the same thing.
Hold it, you're not that pretty. I'm a bad man. Wait. I took up the wall. I took up the wall.
I bear witness, there's only one God, Allah, and Muhammad is his final messenger. That's what I said, Larry, on the Bungle fight. Thanking you.
They call me the problem, but you could call me the can man, because anybody can get it. Africans, Americans, Dominicans, Mexicans, anybody can get it.